now listening to Chop Talk by the fan, for the fan.
And we're back, Braves country. This is another episode of Chop Talk by the fan, for the fan, coming at you live tonight. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Bailey.
I'm Ethan.
And not only are we back, but the Braves are back. We're finally back to 500 baseball. Actually, first time we've been 500 baseball this season. Big win tonight against the Nationals, 5-2. Let's freaking go.
You know, for a while there, I was beginning to think we just couldn't win a 500 ball game. I mean, going into the night, 0-4 in 500 ball games.
Yep.
Potential being 500 team after.
Yep.
You know, we lost game 2. We lost against the Rockies, which, good God, I was mad after that game. We lost against the Reds, and we lost against the Pirates.
Yep.
All games we should have won
Yep.
to go to 500.
Yep.
All games lost by 1 run.
Exactly, 1 run. And there may have been a 5th game in there. I'm not totally sure, but I double-checked today, and those were the 4 games that I could find. Like I said, there may be one in there that I slipped up and missed, but those were the 4 games that I could find that could have gotten us to 500, but we couldn't do it. But this is the night I think that we get over the hump. You know, every team goes through those little stretches every year that you've got those certain humps you've got to get over to keep going. And tonight I think is that hump we've gotten over it. We're at 500, and now it's just, you just go.
Tonight, this episode's going to be just a little bit different than our normal episodes.
Yep.
Normally, you know, we throw a lot of stats at you, break it down game by game and everything. But this last now 11-game stretch, because we just finished tonight's game, 5-2 win over the Nationals to get to 500, we're not going to break them down game by game. We're going to really kind of dive into the team as a whole, our depth, and everything that we have. We're going to throw some stats at you.
Yep.
We're not going to change up completely.
Yeah.
But we're just going to change up the episode just a little bit to cover this past 11-game stretch.
Yeah. And I think one thing to remember is one of the reasons for this is because before tonight's game, we were at the quarter mark of the season. Before tonight's game, we had played 41 games, so just barely a touch over the quarter mark for the season. So we've played, after tonight, we've played 42 games, so we've gotten a good look at what our hitting is going to look like, what our pitching is going to look like, bullpen rotation split apart, and really, you know, what we expect to see going forward and what we think the team is not, I'm not going to say lacking in, but what that one piece we need to kind of bring everything together. So it's going to be, like Ethan just said, it's going to be a little different tonight, but I'm excited for it. We're both really pumped up after tonight's win. So let's get going.
Where do you want to start? You want to start with the bats, the starters, the bullpen, our depth chart, Snicker.
Let's go offense in that 10-game stretch.
Well, it's pretty simple. Take a coin, flip it, heads or tails, and that's what you're going to get out of the Braves that night. We're either going to hit the ball or we ain't going to hit the ball.
Yep.
It's been hot and cold. Verdugo's had a little bit of a slump here in these last 11 games.
Yep.
Some of these games here lately have been rough to watch.
Yeah.
As a whole, and I don't know. Me and you talked about this, and I don't know if it's just the new hitting coach or what.
Yeah.
He has helped Ozuna because Ozuna has been great in his eye. He is not swinging bad. But there is something. 2 years ago, best offense in the league.
Yep.
We have basically the exact same team, minus Acuna.
Yeah.
And minus Darno, but Murphy was there, and Murphy's hitting better than Murphy was then. But everybody else as a whole, we're one of the worst hitting teams in the league.
Yeah, I think we're 22nd in the league in batting average right now, somewhere in there. We're around 238, 239. Before tonight's game, I haven't checked since we just got that third out a couple minutes ago. But anyways, bottom line is we haven't been a great hitting team through the first quarter of the season.
We really haven't. Now, Eli White has woken his bat up. And I don't know if that's because of torpedo bat or what, but my man has gone out there and he's absolutely raked for us lately.
Yes.
One of those 500 game losses came because they took Eli White out in a very crucial scenario for a guy to see if he's got a little magic left in him.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on
Yeah.
that, which we will later. But I don't know. Just everything seems to be either we hit or we don't. And yes, that's obvious. That's baseball. But there's no consistency.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, in the before tonight, in the 10-game stretch that we're referring to this evening is the 3-game series with the Dodgers, the 4-game series at home with the Reds, and the 3-game series on the road against Pittsburgh this past weekend. So in that 10-game stretch, the Braves batted only .210, a .210 batting average as a team. That's not going to win you a whole lot of ball games. A .280 on base percentage, which slugged .331 with a .611 OPS. So when you look at those numbers out of a 10-game stretch, I'm thinking probably 3 wins.
No, at least
3 wins maybe.
Yeah.
But of those 10 games, we pulled out 5 wins. If I look at that stat line and you tell me you win 5 out of 10 games with those numbers, I'm not going to believe you. The reason I'm not going to believe you is because I'm also not expecting your pitching staff to go out there and allow only 3.3 runs per game. So essentially, the last 10 games before tonight, the pitching staff is what gave us those 5 wins, in my opinion.
The pitching staff kept the opponent's bats at bay. We scored in that 10-game stretch. We scored 32 runs. The opposing team scored 33 total. So we were averaging 3.2 runs per game while the opponent was averaging 3.3 runs per game.
Yeah,
our bats were horrendous.
About as even as you can get, and that's not really bragging. I mean, that's saying, hey, we're struggling, but we're still winning half of our ball games.
That's not bragging on the hitting. That's bragging on the pitching staff,
Yes.
and mainly our bullpen
Yes.
for doing what they do, and that is coming in and shutting down ball games, unless your name's Raisel Iglesias.
I was afraid you were going to bring that up.
He's getting no slack, and I'm going to get my honest opinion on him later, and we will get to that.
Yep.
But just past that, 5-5 over the last 10 games. For as bad as we hit, can't ask for much better than that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I could, but it'd just be grabbing at air.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, you don't expect to win a whole lot of games when your numbers are that rough and your offense as a whole is struggling that badly. But at the same time, a win is a win. So to get 5 of those 10, you just got to keep going forward. And they did so tonight. I mean, tonight we got 11 hits in the 8 innings because we didn't have to hit in the ninth. Scored 5 runs. Big game from Schwellenbach.
Huge game.
He went 7 innings, allowed 2 earned runs. 1 was on a home run, the first batter of the game. He gave up 4 hits, 2 walks, so 6 total base runners in 7 innings. He had 4 Ks. He's looking better than his last couple starts have shown. So that's really good to see. That's another starter that we're probably going to count on for the duration of the year.
We could get him a win.
Yeah, finally.
Jesus.
Sale is getting settled in. Chris Sale's starting to throw a whole lot better. Grant Holmes threw well last night.
I just want to shout out Pierce Johnson real quick. Appreciate you, PJ, for actually coming in and doing your job and getting us saved tonight. We do appreciate you.
Yep, that was, and that's something we've been talking about the last probably week and a half very heavily.
Is the fact that our stress levels go through the roof anytime we see Iglesias come out the bullpen.
Yes, and let me go ahead and put this out there. It's not that I'm not, and I'm going to go ahead and say for the both of us, I think Ethan is in the same boat with me on this. It's not that I'm cheering against Iglesias. I don't want to see him throw bad.
Not at all. I
don't
want to see him throw great. He
want-
just doesn't.
I want to see him post a 1.9 ERA like he did last year with a 34 saves out of 38 opportunities last year. That would be great.
But he's not. He's got a
But he-
6.06 ERA after last night.
He's missing something, and I don't know if he's just missing that secondary pitch. That slider's not biting like it has been in the past, or if his command isn't there and he's leaving balls up in the zone too much. There's a number of things going on, and it's just got to be figured out. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, we need to cut him, we need to release him, we need to trade him, this and that. Iglesias is very capable of being a great pitcher. He has been a great pitcher for his career.
He's very capable of it, just like Sale is, and Sale's got it figured out. We both talked about something's off with his slider, his fastball. That secondary pitch isn't working, so his heater's getting smashed, his slider's getting smashed. Well, look at him. He got it figured out, and he back-to-back games with 10 Ks.
Yeah,
I mean, just absolutely. So
he's made an adjustment.
Yeah, Iglesias figure it out, make an adjustment. But my honest opinion, send him down to Gwinnett. Bring somebody else up. Get us another arm. Let him figure it out down there. Don't cost us wins trying to figure it out, because he's obviously not figuring it out.
And the only problem with that thought is, of our bullpen relievers, our current bullpen right now, the only two pitchers that have options left in their contract to be able to be sent down are Dylan Lee and Daysbel Hernandez, who both are way too valuable right now to send down. They've been the two best pitchers in the bullpen.
Well, then DFA him or re-sign him 14 times like we have Jesse Chavez.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's ways around it, or it's one of those where, hey, we're going to give you the seventh inning. We're going to give you the seventh inning, and we're going to not put that stress on you. We're going to allow you to go out there and try to find your comfortability again. If you give up a hit or two, so be it. We've got the bottom of the seventh, or if we're the away team, we've got the eighth and the ninth to come back from it. But it's better than being in the ninth inning and you're up by one and you give up 2 runs just like that, and now you've got to go into the ninth inning or even the 10th inning and do something right then and there.
As much as Snicker likes the righty-righty lefty matchups, I wouldn't be opposed to, let's say, one of the starters goes 6 2/3. Bring him out for that last third against the matchup.
Yep.
You know, give him a short leash.
Yep.
Let him figure it out on a short leash.
Yep.
I personally wouldn't give him a full inning, but I'd get him out there some, and as he starts to get better, start giving him full innings. See if he can work his way back to the closer role.
Yeah.
Because when he's on, he's a great closer.
Yes.
But just right now, he's not on. And so, I want him out of the closer role.
Yes.
I want somebody else in there. Give me Zach Thompson back in our bullpen. The guy's amazing. He has thrown great. He's done nothing wrong. Give me Zach Thompson back in the bullpen. Let him be our setup guy. Let him go 7 or 8 Daysbel to close it out. Night shift 2.0, like you said today.
Yep.
Let's go Blewett, Thompson, Daysbel. Let's go PJ, Blewett, Hernandez, which is Daysbel. I don't care. I'd love to see Hernandez in that closer role.
Yeah.
I would love to. The passion that man has for the game of baseball that shows on the mound every time he comes out. I want to see that out of my guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the thing about Daysbel is, like, when you think of a closer, you're thinking of, Mariano Rivera or, someone like that who's going to blow it by somebody, make them look kind of foolish, get their strikeouts. But the thing is about Hernandez is in 19 innings this year, he's only got 13 strikeouts. But in those 19 innings, he's only given up 10 hits. So he's, the opponents are hitting the ball against him, but he's getting weak contact. Or he's just getting really lucky. But either way.
He's given up like 8 home runs.
Hernandez?
Oh, sorry. I thought you said Iglesias.
No. God, no. No.
Sorry. Ignore me. I'm sorry.
No, Hernandez, he's only given up 10 hits in 19 innings. He's got a 1.89 ERA.
Oh, Hernandez has been great.
He has by far been the best reliever out of the pen so far. And like you said, he shows that fire. He shows that passion. And honestly, that's a little intimidating for a team when they see a closer coming out. And he's up on the mound. He's beating his chest. after getting the first out of the inning, and he's still got to get 2 more. That's just saying he's got confidence.
Oh, he's going to shove. It's what he does.
Yeah.
He's going to shove. Right now, his ERA is just shy of 3, I'm pretty sure.
Who?
Daysbell. What's his ERA right now?
His ERA is 1.89.
1.89. Even better. That means...
Just under 2.
Just under 2. So, for those of y'all that aren't exactly sure how ERA works, if you give up it's basically how many runs you give up per 9 innings. So if you go out and pitch 1 inning, give up 1 run, your ERA is a 9. Daysbell is averaging 1 inning per game he pitches with a
8.9.
1.89 ERA. Basically, he is giving up 1 run or almost 2 runs every basically 4 appearances, 5 appearances. You can't ask for no better.
No.
You can't ask for no better.
No. And I mean, and then you got PJ, who before tonight came in and closed. Before tonight's game, he had a 2.45 ERA. Dylan Lee, before tonight, I think is down to a 2.04. But before tonight, he was at a 2.16. Aaron Bummer's at a 3.18. De Los Santos is at a 3.32. And Scott Blewett, taking away the 1 game he started against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Just in the bullpen, he has a 2.79.
He's a bullpen guy. He did what he could for us.
No,
in that
I'm sorry. That's his total. In the bullpen, Blewett is a 2.2. He's a 2.79 total this year. Take away his start against St. Louis, he's a 2.2 out of the bullpen. So the bullpen's doing great.
Except for 2 people. Iglesias and Montero.
Yes.
Both of those are above 5 ERA guys. We have room and we have arms in AAA. Zach Thompson.
Craig
Kimbrell. Bring those guys up. Zach Thompson has proven himself.
Yeah.
Craig Kimbrell's throwing great right now. Bring him up. If you're going to give somebody like Iglesias this long leash, bring Kimbrell up. Let him see what he can do. We can't keep trusting somebody who is time and time again letting us down when we have all these arms, like Bailey just went over, that is going to give us great chances. Most of these guys are averaging 1 run per 3 appearances.
Yep.
That is what a 3 ERA basically stands for.
Yep.
If you are a bullpen guy, it is
Yep.
1 run per 3 appearances.
Yep. And while we're on the bullpen hot take, so far this year, the current bullpen, not our bullpen total since opening day, but the current bullpen of the 8 relievers in the bullpen tonight wearing a jersey, the current bullpen has thrown 128 1/3 innings, striking out 136 with a 1.1 whip, 3.15 ERA, giving up 91 hits, 50 walks, 47 earned runs, and a 9.54 Ks per 9 innings. So that alone is pretty impressive. However, if you want something even more impressive, let's take out the 16 1/3 that Iglesias has thrown. Okay? 112 innings pitched, 117 Ks, 1.05 whip, 72 hits, 46 walks, 36 earned runs, 9.4 strikeouts per 9 innings, and a 2.89 ERA. That's a sub-3 ERA from your bullpen staff. So on any given night, every 3 innings that they throw, let's just say your starter goes out there and gives a quality start, 6 innings.
Yeah.
Your bullpen
Is averaging
at most 1 run in those 3 innings.
at most.
What else do you ask for?
You can't ask for no better. And everybody's harped on the Braves bullpen. I see so many comments on the post. Oh, the bullpen's terrible. Bullpen's terrible. I don't know what games y'all are watching personally.
Yeah,
I don't know if y'all are watching reruns from like 2015, 2014. You know, when the Braves were absolutely terrible, when we were rebuilding around Freddie Freeman. You ain't watching 2025 Braves bullpen.
No.
You're not. because they are the best bullpen in the league.
Yep. And honestly, I mean, they're the reason we're 500 right now.
The only reason we're 500,
Yep.
especially with this last 10-game stretch. Like you said, we should have had a losing record in this last 10-game stretch.
Yep.
But the bullpen has kept us in these games.
Was it what stat was it I threw at you yesterday? In the
What are we talking about?
I'm trying to think of it. It was
I don't know. We talk about a lot. We talk. When I tell y'all that we talk about so much throughout the week.
Of the Pittsburgh series, the bullpen gave up 2 runs. Was that what it was?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure in the Pittsburgh series, the bullpen gave up 2 runs, and those 2 runs went to Montero gave up 1, and Iglesias gave up 1.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that is right.
So in 3 games, you're looking at roughly 9 innings. The bullpen gave up 2 runs, which is about right. You know, if you look at the stats for the bullpen as a whole, that's about right. A little better, actually. And 1 run went to Montero, who has not had his best stuff, and 1 went to Iglesias, who has not had his best stuff. Lee, Bummer, Hernandez, De Los Santos, Blewett, they've all been phenomenal. So, and it sounds like we're, you know, hanging somebody out to dry, but we're not. We're pointing at who's done well and who is struggling. Montero, he's a vet.
We're calling a spade a spade.
Yeah, Montero's a vet. He's going to figure it out. Iglesias is a vet. I really think he's going to figure it out. But I don't think leaving him in the closer role until he does is going to be what gets us to where we need to be.
We're not going to get to where we need to be that way.
No.
You can't. This is the top level of baseball in the world. This isn't a place to, all right, we're going to give you an opportunity here, try it. We're not the Rockies. We're not the White Sox.
We're not rebuilding.
We're not rebuilding. We are a World Series contender that is struggling to get 500 because we keep giving a guy a chance that has proven time and time again that he cannot stand up there in the 9th inning and do what he needs to do.
Yep. Well, this is another stat for you. And I know we said we were going to talk about stats a lot on this episode, but I think
I warned them we were going to throw some at them. They know what to expect from us.
This is just the little part of the episode where we are talking about stats. But one stat that is fairly new to the game.
FIP. Fielding Independent Pitching. Basically, to put it in layman's terms for people who aren't analytical in baseball and don't understand most of the new analytical stuff, it basically means that it's a pitching stats that only pitchers can control. Hits, home runs, walks, hit by pitches, and strikeouts. It's more indicative of a pitcher's true ERA because of... Oh, wow. Sorry. Bailey just showed me something. I'll tell y'all that in a second. But that is a true indicative of a pitcher's ERA because you're not always going to have great defense behind you to keep your ERA low. Yes, Nick Allen made his first error in 2 months last night. Big freaking whoop.
And then,
Those two guys should not have been on base.
Let's go ahead and break that down first. So there's 2 outs in the 9th inning. One out away. We're up 2 runs. Okay, got men on 3rd and 2nd for Washington. They hit a ground ball of the middle, a little to Nick Allen's left. He gets to it. I don't know if he double clutched or got it stuck in it. He double clutched.
I think what happened was Dylan Cruz for the Washington Nationals. He's fast. He's an outfielder. He's young. He is very fast. He was busting it down the line to do what he needed to do because they had 2 outs in this tying run, or the not tying run, I'm sorry, but the second run of the game for them, standing on 3rd, trying to get that run in and extend the game. And I think that when Nick Allen scooped that ball up, the transition from glove to hand wasn't clean, so he double clutched it to get another grip.
Right.
But because of Dylan Cruz's speed, he rushed that throw and he missed wide left or wide right to Olsen's right. Olsen laid out for it. Unfortunately, it was too far. He couldn't reach it. That caused the runner on second to be able to advance, score, and Dylan Cruz to get the second.
Yep.
A single with an extra base on an error.
Well, and this is the caveat to that whole sequence. There is they scored that a single, meaning he would have beat the throw out.
Yes.
Extended. Had it been a perfect throw, what the scorer's decision is saying is, had that been a perfect throw, he would have beat it out, safe called, single, game extended, runner on third scored.
Yeah.
That is the one earned run that Iglesias was credited to. The other run scored on the air, so that did not go against Iglesias. So his 6.06 ERA is excluding the run that was scored on the air. So anybody that's saying, oh, well, that run was only scored because Allen made a bad throw, that's not true.
No.
It is true in the sense of him scoring,
Yes,
but it's not true in the sense of going against Iglesias' stat line.
It won't Allen's fault he was on base.
Right.
But up until last night, out of qualified shortstops, Nick Allen was the only shortstop in MLB without an error. Without an error going into last night.
That's some pretty good odds.
So, fine. You have one hiccup in 2 months. Cool. I'm fine with it. Go get the next one. But Iglesias, he put us in that position. And that's on him.
Yeah. I mean, now granted, I will give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. The two hits prior, the two runners that were on base at the time, both of them were low outside pitches, and they just they hit the ball. But at the same time, it seems like he's the only one out of the bullpen that we're continuing to have this conversation about. He's just getting hit.
Which is what led into this conversation. We're going to weave it back around to what started that little bit of a rant. FIP. So, it's a true or indicative because it takes away fielding. Because fielding can make a bad pitcher look amazing.
Yes.
Because eventually those balls are going to find grass, they're going to find holes. Defense isn't always going to be there. And his FIP was 6.26. Or 6.29, I'm sorry. So that's indicative of his true ERA. Which, as of right now, is kind of close. And we're starting to see that. Because he is giving a lot of hard hit balls. Now, our bullpen, on the other hand, for the entire bullpen, is a 3.57 FIP. 3.16 if you exclude Iglesias. That means that our bullpen, excluding Iglesias, his numbers is almost identical to their ERA. That means that these guys are going up there and shoving and getting the outs, not
without extra help of the defense.
Without extra help. These guys are going up there and getting the outs.
Yep.
And that's why FIP is such a important statistic.
Yeah. I mean, it's I like it. It's one of those newer stats. I like it. The only thing I might could see someone arguing with that stat is you take someone that is not a strikeout pitcher. They pitch for contact. They pitch for weak contact. I'm not saying just throwing it up there and hoping they pop up or hoping they hit a ground ball right to their shortstop. I'm talking about a pitcher that throws a two-seamer low and away and it runs away and they get a rollover ground ball. That is probably the only pitcher that stat may hurt because you're not getting a lot of strikeouts.
A Greg Maddux of the world.
Pretty much, yes.
But anybody that's watched these games like we have knows that Iglesias ain't getting weak grounders. He's getting absolutely roped.
Yep. He's getting out of an inning giving up 2 hits, and 2 of the outs were fly balls hit to the warning track.
Yeah, and he's averaging a home run given up per star almost.
Just about, yeah. And I promise we're going to stop beating a dead horse, but it's... And I think it's so frustrating because we have seen him do very well, and so we expect him to do well, and we want him to do well. And that's why it's frustrating is because he's in a position where in the game of baseball, his position alone is very, very scrutinized because you get one inning a game. And in that one inning, you give up 2 hits, and that may decide the ball game.
Yeah.
But that's the nature of the beast. That's your role. That's what you're called to do.
Well, we're this way because we're 0-7 start. It all boils back down to it.
Yep.
Now we're 21-21. We should be minimum, I would say, 26 and like
That would
18.
That would be, if we had 26, that would be 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we should have
five extra, 5 less. Yep.
We should have almost at minimum 5 to 6 more W's.
I think we should be at least within 2 games of the Mets.
Yeah.
Because we're 6 going in tonight. We were 6.5 back. You mean to tell me there's not 4 games in there that we shouldn't have won to put us within 2.5 games? I mean, we should be pretty much identical.
We should have beat the Rockies.
Yes.
We should have beat
that Game 3 against Tampa Bay on Sunday.
Game 3 against Tampa Bay. Game 3 against the Dodgers, opening series.
Yes.
Iglesias.
Yes. Opening series against the Dodgers.
Opening series against the Dodgers.
Yep.
Iglesias. Home run to Ohtani. Should have won the Pirates game.
Yeah.
Should have won the Reds game.
Yep.
All of our 500 games, besides the Padres game, Game 2, we should have won. That's 3 games minimum right there.
Mm-hmm.
Add in the Dodgers and add in that Tampa Bay game.
Yeah.
And honestly, we could add in the Diamondback series to that game. We shouldn't have lost.
Mm-hmm.
So there's many we shouldn't have. We did. And that's not all his fault. A lot of that's our bats too, which have been abysmal in some of these games. It's like Chris Sale got a loss against the Dodgers. He threw a gem.
Yeah.
Threw a two earned run gem. 10 strikeouts. We lost that game 2-1. Our bats failed him.
Mm-hmm.
Should have won that game. But our bats failed him.
Yep.
And that's just been another big part of just the Braves season as a whole. We talked about it earlier. It's like flipping a coin. And we've got to get that figured out. I don't know what to do differently. Because there are streaks of the old Braves in there every now and then.
Yeah. But
then right after we get it going, like the 10-game stretch, before this 10-game stretch, we were great. Then we fell off another 10. You can call that consistency because you had a good 10 games, but over the course of a 162-game season, 16 games is 10% of the season.
Yeah.
So 10 games is like 6 to 7%. That's not consistency.
No.
The only thing consistent about our bats have been the inconsistency.
Well, and when you talk about consistency, you're talking about not only the team as a whole, but you're talking about guys that have been in the lineup, guys that have been able to produce. Overall, Nick Allen has been not only a great asset with his glove, but he has been a great asset with his bat.
He really has produced. With
He's been.
He ain't got no power at all.
No.
But by God, that man is gonna put the bat on the ball. He's gonna put it in play.
Yeah, he's gonna scrap.
Yeah,
he's what you want in a 9-hole hitter. I mean, after tonight's game, he's batting .250. If you're in the 9-hole in the major leagues, it's not because you're batting .300. It's not because you're batting .280 or .275. You're probably a .250 hitter that's got a good glove, and you're just there to be a role guy. That's probably the reason you're there. I'm not saying that's the reason Dansby Swanson hit at the bottom of the order for majority of his career as a Brave, or Michael Harris has hit at the bottom of the order for majority of his career so far as a Brave. But majority of the time, if you put all 30 MLB teams in a line, their 9-hole hitter is a role guy. Nick Allen is a role guy, and he has exceeded his role so far.
He's been the best shortstop in the league.
Yeah, he's been a great glove, and he's batting .250. So, what do you expect to see from
I mean,
the front office when the trade deadline comes up, and you've got Nick Allen over here, who's been a great teammate. He's been a great glove. He's been a scrappy hitter, and you've got Orlando Arcia sitting up here on the bench.
not only him, we got 22-year-old Nacho Alvarez coming off the DL. Should be this month. Now you've got him coming up, who's a franchise shortstop in and of itself.
And even excluding Alvarez and excluding Allen, you've also got these continued rumors of a Bo Bichette trade, not just with the Braves, but within the league.
Even on the Braves, you have Eli White.
Yep, Eli
Played
White.
shortstop at Clemson.
He can play anywhere. I think we should let him pitch, to be honest with you. I mean, Eli White's going to do what he has to do no matter where you put him. But what was it? It was last Friday's game against Cincinnati. We put Orlando Arcia in. And when you talk about baseball, you talk about a particular game. You're talking about every player has a job to do. Whether you're a starting pitcher, whether you're a reliever that's going in there for a particular setup against a particular hitter, whether you're a batter that your job is to hit a sac fly.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
You put Orlando Arcia in a specific time in a game, and his job, everybody in the ballpark knows what his job to do is.
Lay a freaking bunt down.
And I'm an old school guy. I'm an old soul. I love seeing small ball. I love seeing steals. I love seeing bunt. I love seeing sack bunts, bunts for hit. I love seeing the old school style of baseball. I'm sorry, but I feel like I'm talking to a 9-year-old when I'm screaming at the TV, don't drop your bat head.
Pop up to the pitcher.
And you pop it up, and, well, you're not served with because you didn't do your job, and now you're walking back to the dugout. So it's not even that he can't hit for an average. He can't even do a particular job to help the team win a game. So what is Arcia going to bring to the table as the season goes on?
He's not going to bring much. At this point, I mean, you might want to get him in some games just for the sure fact of tradability. Because right now, everybody, excuse me, right now everybody's just seeing him sit on the bench. And yeah, everybody's like, well, of course you got Nick Allen. But you need some tradability out of him. And right now, his stats have no tradability.
No, well, but that's another thing too, is even if he were to get some playing time and, you know, go a little stretch and maybe produce some decent numbers, there's some teams that aren't going to bite. I mean, let's go ahead and get into it. At the trade deadline, there are 3 teams. There are 3 types of teams. You have buyers, you have sellers, and you have neutrals. Your buyers are your teams that probably going to be about 7 or 8 teams of the 30 teams that they're contending, and they believe this is possibly their year. They're going to get rid of their good prospects to go get a big puzzle piece to help put everything together. Then you've got your sellers, who are your
Low tier guys.
White Sox, Colorado Rockies. They're in their rebuild eras, and they're going to give up their star players because their star players can't win every game for them. So there's no reason to hold on to them. They're going to trade them. They're going to get prospects. Then you've got your neutrals, who are your probably 500 to 6 to 7 wins above 500 teams, where they feel that they've got good chances, but they're not so confident to get rid of their prospects just to get a big puzzle piece. Okay? Even though the Braves have just reached 500, I think they need to be buyers. We've got, another month and a half, 2 months for the trade deadline. There's a lot of baseball to be played left and before the trade deadline. And I think when the trade deadline comes, we're going to be in that group of teams where, we're buyers. And I think that needs to go ahead and be the mindset. So when that time comes, who's going to be the prospect or the MLB roster guy that we're going to be looking to get rid of to be a buyer team? I mean, is it going to be a bench guy? Is it going to be a prospect? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Truthfully, I look at our starting lineup, and besides Nick Allen, there's nobody that I could see replacing for anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Murphy and Baldwin have that lockdown. There's no really other catcher in the league that I'd rather have than them.
Mm-mm.
Truthfully not. Olsen's Olsen. Olsen's great. Albies, he's a little slacking with the bat right now, but he's still Aussie Albies.
Yeah, he's
And
still
good.
Aussie.
Yeah.
I'm never going to turn my back on
No.
him.
Austin Riley, he's our boy. Got a bat for that man any day.
2 hits tonight. He's batting 289 on the year, so he's doing his thing.
Verdugo, yeah, he's a little bit of a slump, but to be honest, he's been so great for us. I'm fine with a little bit of a slump. We'll see, and my thoughts may change on that if you don't pick it up. Michael Harris, the best defensive outfielder in the league.
Yep.
Argue with the wall. I don't care. I'll say it again. Argue with the wall. And then right field, we got Acuna coming back this month. And let's go back to Verdugo over there. We've still got Eli White, who has been an absolute dog. He can play left field if Verdugo's not producing.
Yep.
The only thing I could see would be a couple arms from the bullpen. Maybe chase a closer. Maybe chase that strong arm out of the bullpen. Rotation-wise, we're going to have, if Strider can come back and stay healthy, we're going to have Strider, Schwelly, Sale, Holmes, and my personal thoughts, A.J. Smith-Shawver.
Yeah.
So the only thing, maybe we go after a big arm and drop A.J. out. Sorry, A.J., you've been great, but that's the only thing I could see. We've made some questionable choices this year, so why not make another?
Well, and the thing is, if AJ keeps throwing, he's got a sub-3 ERA right now. If he keeps throwing well, and Grant Holmes, now he threw well last night, but if Grant Holmes don't get it together, AJ might beat him out for that fourth
And he may.
spot in the rotation. Because for a while there, we were talking about AJ and Elder fighting for that 5th spot whenever Strider came back. But whenever Strider comes back, if Holmes can't keep up with AJ, we may see a little shift in the rotation there.
And staying realistic, if Strider, for some reason, comes back again and has to go back on the IL and he's just not himself, then I really think that's where we go after a big arm to fill the rotation. Because Elder, no offense to him, but he's got a negative WAR. That's wins against replacements. That means that anytime he pitches for us, he is basically costing us games. At a negative 1 WAR means that with him playing, we lost an extra game that we shouldn't have. That's what WAR means.
Yeah.
So that's where I think maybe we'll go after a big arm for sure if Strider cannot come back and stay healthy this season.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my thoughts on it. That's where I would be a buyer at. Would be truthfully just an arm out of the pen.
Yeah. Well, and you know when you're a buyer team, you're really analyzing your depth chart. When you're a seller, you're analyzing your prospects.
You're analyzing your future.
You're analyzing your future. When you're a buyer team, you're analyzing what's on the
here and now. Let's go win this championship.
Who's here now? Who's going to help us get that ring? And
do we think we're sustainable enough past this year to keep contending?
Right.
Or are we going to throw everything for this one championship?
Right. And so with that being said, when you look at the depth chart, you've got Olsen, Ozuna, Riley, all who can play first base.
Yes.
They bring something to the table.
At second base, we've got Albies, Nick Allen, Eli White, and Orlando Arcia. Shortstop?
You've got Nick Allen, Orlando Arcia, Eli White, and Nacho Alvarez.
Third base, you've got Austin Riley. The new acquisition, Williams, just pulled him up from Gwinnett because thankfully we DFA'd Rosario. I'll get into that in a minute after we finish our depth chart. And Nick Allen.
In left field, you've got Verdugo, Stortfeld, Fairchild, and Luke Williams.
Again. Center field, Michael Harris II, the second. Sorry. Just wanted to put his full name out there for that one. Eli White, Stuart Fairchild.
Right field, you've got Eli White and Fairchild, and eventually we will have Acuna in there. So, of those position players, in my opinion, the only person that isn't really
Needed.
needed and doesn't really bring a lot of stuff to the table is Arcia.
I don't. we don't-
Eli White is a role guy. Nick Allen
Yeah.
is a role guy. Those are role guys, but those are guys that can also play multiple positions.
and we don't have enough information on Luke Williams yet to make an opinion on him. We're going
Right.
to stay open minded and see what he can do.
Well, and you know, guys like Stuart Fairchild and Eli White, those are guys that you can bring in to run bases.
That we need that.
I mean, Orlando Arcia is, you know, if he had the speed, yeah, I'd say keep him as a base runner. But he doesn't have the speed.
Especially late in the games, Azuna gets on. By God, he's pulling an 18-wheeler behind him when he's running. I mean,
Loaded down.
he's loaded down. The anchor's out. The emergency brake's on. He is pulling all kind of weight.
And so, I mean, and the good thing about Nacho Alvarez is you look at him, and we've talked about this before, but I'm going to say it again. He can be a franchise shortstop, but he is still very young.
Very young. He's got to
So,
prove himself.
This year is either going to be, okay, we're going to be neutral at shortstop. We're going to try to get it with what we got, and we're going to hold on to Alvarez, and he's going to be our franchise shortstop. Or we're going to see him go to Toronto, kind of work for a couple years, be their franchise shortstop, and in return, we're going to get Bo Bichette this year. We're going to put him in the lineup. We're going to go win another World Series. That's my thought on the position players. On the pitching staff in the rotation, we've got Chris Sale, Grant Holmes, Schwelly, AJ Smith-Shawver, and then right now it's Bryce Elder, but probably going to see, in my opinion, and I think both of our opinions, we're going to see Spencer Strider come in and take that fifth spot. So with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Bryce Elder in a different uniform later this year, just because we've seen him for the last couple of years, and we've given him chances, and he's done great at times. And at times he hasn't had his best stuff, but it's just the name of the game. Sometimes you see a guy that has consistently done decent, and then he just kind of dealt away.
And when you're in that buyer scenario like we're talking about, those guys that have done decent are the guys that got to go.
That's right. That's right.
And then the bullpen, y'all heard us talk about them enough. Y'all can probably quote them yourself. But we've got Iglesias, Hernandez, PJ, Blewett, Lee, Montero, De Los Santos, and Bummer.
And of those, probably the only two that I would even think about getting rid of would be
Montero and Iglesias.
Montero and Iglesias. And I don't even think Iglesias is a high probability. I think that would be something that I think that would be like a blockbuster trade. Mm-hmm. That wouldn't be a, hey, we need a role guy, I'll give you Iglesias. That's going to be a, hey, we need help. Yeah. We're going to go get this guy. We're going to do whatever it takes to get him.
Oh, it's going to be a big trade.
And if you do see that trade, then that goes back to what you were talking about earlier. Then we're going to go after a big arm in the bullpen.
And I think in our buyer situation, if we're in that situation, I hope we are. I think we are. That's my honest thoughts. I truly think we'll be. That's going to be our big acquisition to push us over the edge to go get another World Series. But we have to go to the top right now and make better decisions. Starting with the guy who's on his last year of his contract, Brian Snitker. He makes a lot of questionable decisions. And he's very old school in his way of thinking. He's a big proprietor of the right versus right, left versus left matchup. If they go to a lefty, it don't matter how good that a lefty batter you had's been doing, he's gonna pinch hit a righty and vice versa. And unfortunately, that has cost us some ball games. Eddie Rosario.
Cost us some possibilities.
Yes. Eddie Rosario. Told you I'd get back to him, and we're back to him. The other night, Eli White. He had 2 hits that night. I believe he was 2 for 3.
And at the time, he was the hottest hitter on the team.
Still is.
He's been doing great. He's been hitting very well.
But we've got a runner on first and second.
Michael Harris had just hit a single.
Oh yes, you're right. I'm sorry.
But he's a
one.
time
Just
run.
one.
Time
Yeah,
run now.
time
With speed.
run.
With
Two
speed.
outs. Michael Harris single. Speed. On deck. Who we thought was supposed to be Eli White. But, as we've said, he likes the matchup. So he brings in Eddie Rosario to face. And Eddie Rosario strikes out. And he is quoted saying after the game, he just wanted to see if Rosario had any magic left in him. I'm sorry, but as a manager at the highest level, you can't be pinch hitting for your best hitter with a guy who you're hoping's got magic left. It ain't 2021 anymore, Snit. It's 2025. You got lucky that AA brought in some guys that had the best seasons of their career. They careered it that year. They peaked.
Yeah.
And they're nowhere ever going to touch that again.
Yeah. And I don't think that, in my opinion, I don't think that was the best way to word that.
It wasn't.
I can get on board with his thought behind it, but I don't think it was worded the greatest. Because basically what you're saying is, hey, he's done well before. We're just going to see what happens. So basically you're telling Eli White, I don't care how good you've hit before. Right now, this very at bat, we're going to go with a guy that hit good 4 years ago.
And it kind of boils back to the whole Jared Kelenic issue. You know, he didn't really make the best comments about that at the time either. You know, talking about, should I have? Oh, I went and watched it back and said something to him. No, that's because you got called out. Let's be honest here. Mm-hmm. You got called out, so now you're trying to save your butt. And he's really made some questionable decisions this year. Some of these pinch hits, pinch running for a guy in the 7th inning. Now what are you going to do come later in the innings? 9th,
10th inning, yeah.
We go into extras. You've cleared the bench. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
So sometimes it has worked out, but more times than not, this season it has not worked out, and it has cost us potential wins.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's the name of the game when you're a manager or a head coach at any level. You make decisions based on your gut, and if it works out, you look like a freaking genius. But when it doesn't, then
you got guys like us that complain.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nature of the beast. It is. That's what it is. But it's just hard for me to get on board with putting a lefty in the box versus a righty solely for that matchup when Eli White has been destroying the ball.
Yeah.
If he's gone 1 for his last 10 and he's struggling, yeah, sure, go with the matchup. But he's been hitting good. He's been hitting hard line drops. He won the St. Louis game, the Game 3 against St. Louis a couple weeks ago for us on a home run. I mean, he's been hitting well. So give him a chance to stay hot. Give him a chance to get that big moment. Give him a chance to keep his confidence up and get some momentum and keep playing well until we can get Acuna back in right field.
Unfortunately, he's just got too quick of a draw on that aspect.
Yeah.
But something he ain't got a quick draw on, that is pulling a starter when they're not doing good. And that is something that has been absolutely horrendous. Leaving in a starter way too long, giving up too many runs when we've got a bullpen that has been proven time and time again they can come in a game and shut it down.
Yeah, it's gotten better over the last couple of weeks. I will say that because the starters have come around, and so we're able to leave them in a little longer.
But let's go back to the Elder start last time.
Yeah.
That was a big one. Me and you kept talking about that. Why is he still in? Why is he still in? Why is he still in this ballgame? What game was that? I believe that was another one of the 500 games.
That was Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, it was Pittsburgh. The 4-3 game, I believe it was. No, I'm sorry. That was Chris Sale. Let's go. What game was that? What game was that? I don't know, but it was one of his. It was the first game of the Pirates. We lost 3-2. He gave up 3 runs in he gave 3 runs up
I don't know if it
In
was
the
that
in
one.
the sixth,
Because I'm remembering
it was a high.
a different game.
Oh, I'll tell you what it was. It was the Dodgers. It was that was Swelly that game, 10-3. He left
Yeah.
in Swelly way too long. Yes, he only went 3 2/3 that game, but he left him in way too long, just getting absolutely hammered.
Yeah, sorry about that, Elder.
No, there was an Elder game the other day.
Oh, I'm thinking of one, but that just goes to show you there's been multiple occurrences where we've kind of called it and been like, okay, are we going to try to stay in this game, or are we going to get this guy a break and go to our bullpen and trust our bullpen? And that's because you got to trust your bullpen that's been throwing that well. I mean, before the ninth inning, basically what I'm saying is before you get to Iglesias, your bullpen has a 2.89 ERA. So why not? I mean, yeah, if a starter's throwing good, ride him. If he's not, okay, boom. You got the bullpen to back it up. You can pull a starter after 4 innings if he's not throwing great. Go with your bullpen to throw 5 innings. They're probably going to give up at most 2 runs. Yeah, okay, we'll take that. If you go to the bullpen and you're in the game and they give up those 2 runs, you're probably still in the game. So it all goes back to the 0-7 start. And we've said this every single episode, but that's what it is. It's going to go back to that all year long because every game is heavily scrutinized. Every decision is heavily scrutinized. But I'm sorry, but when your bullpen is throwing like ours, it's hard not to want to go to your bullpen when you see a starter struggling. I mean, the rotation before tonight against the Nationals, our current rotation. This is excluding Strider. This is excluding Blewett start against St. Louis. The current 5 guys in the rotation. Our current rotation has a 3.83 ERA before tonight. Not terrible. It's gotten better over the last couple of weeks. But before this little stretch of the rotation, keeping their earned runs down, the rotation's ERA was above 4. So with that being said, when they're struggling and they're more likely to give up runs in the bullpen, why would you not want to go to your bullpen?
You gotta, yeah. We can Monday quarterback it pretty easily.
But that's preparation, though.
Yeah,
that's got to be preparation. You've got to look at those numbers and say, okay, going into tomorrow night's game, bullpen's been phenomenal. Rotation's been struggling. If Joe Blow goes out there and he doesn't have his best stuff, he gets in a jam, boom, we got to have the confidence to go with our bullpen, keep the game close, keep us in the game to hopefully get a win. That's preparation.
You got to be prepared to pull that trigger. Yes, you want to, especially early on in a series, especially when you have back-to-back it's a long, no day breaks. Like right now, I believe we're in the middle of a 15 game,
roughly
13 game streak of no breaks. So yeah, you try to limit your bullpen as much as you can so you don't wear them out. But at the same time, got to win ball games.
Yep.
And moving forward, we just won the Nationals game tonight. 500 ball team. We're 500 ball club. Thank the Lord. We've won. We got 2 more games against the Nationals this week, and then we go on the road for a 3-game Red Sox series. We got a game break, and then we're against the Nationals again.
Yep.
I think that's a good place to finish this episode up. Like I said, we kind of did a little bit of a different episode. Obviously we're going to throw some stats at you. That's just what we do. But we tried to, not just break it down game by game and kind of drag it on. We tried to really give some more thought, insight into the Braves as a whole, especially reaching that quarter season mark. We have ventured out, and now all of our episodes are on Spotify now. We're working on Apple. It's a little more of a headache to do, but we're working on it. And look forward to hearing y'all's comments. We put comments on Spotify.
Yeah,
Leave us your comments.
subscribe, follow.
Subscribe, follow, like, do all the stuff that everybody tells you to do. That's my final thoughts on it. You got any thoughts left?
I do want to say the last episode before the 10-game stretch of the Dodgers, Reds, Pirates, I did say by the end of the National Series we would be 500. I just want to put that out there.
Well, we ain't ended it yet, so.
But we are right now.
Yes.
So it's a partial win.
Yes.
So we just got to win one of the next two, and I'll be correct. And I love being right. So, but that's all from us. Appreciate the listening, guys. Like Ethan just said, subscribe, follow, share, leave a comment, shoot us a DM on Instagram, on Facebook, whatever. But we'll be back at you in the next few days with another episode. Appreciate it, guys.